Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this. Episode 10 of Cast Iron Bites. And Megan, the thing I forgot to do, but I'll just do it live, is make sure I got the pronunciation of your last name correctly. I'm gonna try, don't tell me, because
Okay.
we're flying without a net. But super excited to have the very talented Megan Knudsvig.
So close.
Knudsvig. Knudsvig.
So you do pronounce the K. It's
Okay.
Knudsvig. So you almost.
Knudsvig. Okay, Megan Knudsvig from the whitewhisk.com. And I'm going to read your bio really quickly, but because that's the easy stuff. Well, actually, I'll read your bio after. Megan, welcome to Cast Iron Bites. So happy
Thank
to
you
have you
so much. I'm happy to be here.
here. And I was just complimenting Megan on her really crisp, clean background. And then we talked about the crisp, clean weather where we both are. So Megan is a digital content creator and really a superstar in Washington in the Pacific Northwest. You've done baking and pastry arts programs, worked in lots of different bakeries, and you started the shift to working from home when you guys started a family, which is so. We hear that a lot about the need for people to have. I'm talking so much, and this isn't about me. So, Megan, welcome
You're
to
good.
again to Catch Our Bites. Tell us. So, thanks for joining us. Tell us your story. How did you make the shift from what you were doing to what you're doing now?
Yeah. So, like you mentioned, initially started out going to baking school and working in some incredible local bakeries and gaining a few different types of experience with that. And once we started our family and had kids, it just gets trickier to arrange childcare and run everybody around. And, just really wanted the flexibility of working from home and developing that from home. So, took a break for a little bit.
How
And
many
with
kids do you have, Megan?
we have three. So three girls, a 6-year-old, a 6.5, 5, and 3. So it's a party in our house. It's very busy.
I love it.
It's very
I love
loud.
it. We have three boys.
Yeah. Oh man, it's great. So once the more kids we had, the more I was like, okay, I would like to shift to working from home. But the question of how do you do that while still, maintaining your sanity while trying to balance all the things, do all the things. So that has developed into just the last few years, just trying to take it one step at a time, honestly. And that started with starting a food blog and, having an outlet to create recipes and do decorating tutorials and starting an Instagram page. So that's kind of where I started. And that has developed over the last few years into kind of dipping my toes into several different areas through food photography and doing sponsored posts and brand work for kitchen and food companies and instructing baking classes. I've done Bake Fest a few times and done a couple classes on my own and a few just locally here. So yeah, it's kind of just been trying everything out right now. These last few years, I'm still fairly new into creating a business out of it. So that's been definitely a journey, figuring out all the nuts and bolts and not just the fun baking stuff and the pretty stuff, but also, the things it takes to run a business. So yeah, that's been the shift, and working from home has been wonderful and flexible, also challenging. It's
Yeah, I bet. So for
yeah.
people who want to learn more about Megan and see her classes and her tutorials and all the content, it's at the whitewhisk.com. And your background's very on brand, which is perfect.
Oh,
Megan, you talk about there's so much in there that I want to touch on, but
yeah,
you talk about trying new things and just taking one step at a time. Can you talk a little bit about that mindset when you're trying something new? Like, how'd you
sure.
get into that, and how do you think about that?
Yeah. I mean, initially it kind of can feel overwhelming because, for one, like just the blog in itself is, this whole world of like tech and your website and learning SEO and all these different things. So I just honestly tried the first year or so was a definite push in kind of more just like trying to work and push really hard to get it up and running and just try to get
Right.
something going.
Did you
Uh,
have the end in mind though? Did you know that you wanted, like, do you know what you want to be when you grow up?
I think in a perfect world, I'm still kind of trying to decide because I think there's parts of it that I've been doing now for a few years. And it's like, okay, I really enjoy this part of it, not so much this part. In a perfect world, I could do the baking, the recipes, and the photography and videography and pass off the rest to someone else. But right now it's a one woman show and my husband who does dishes and helps out and is supportive in that. But yeah, so I think the end goal would be to eventually maybe be able to pass off some of those tasks. But right now, just trying to kind of wear a lot of hats with that and just try to learn from resources that are available to me. Like I'm so super thankful for how many free resources there are available, and also have tried to take some education classes. I did the foodtography program for learning the food photography side of things and some of the business and licensing and brand work. And then also podcasts. I have tried to absorb a lot from that, just podcasts geared in the foodie sphere and YouTube. So that's just been, it's just trying to literally just get one thing figured out at a time.
Well, that's the key. That's the thing that I think is really powerful, because so many people who are starting out with a baking business or an entrepreneurial venture feel like they have to know every answer.
Right.
And to be a pro at everything. And what I'm hearing from you and taking away is the importance of maybe pick one thing and just get better at it every day, or like chip away at it.
Yes. Yeah. No, exactly. And I think something too with that has been, because being in this space, you're sharing your ideas and your creative thoughts and your recipes with other people. And I think sometimes you can play the comparison game and look at other people and how well their stuff looks and be like, ooh, but like, who's going to try my recipe? I'm just kind of, I'm only a few years in and this person's been doing it for decades. But I think too, just thinking about myself, it's like, I know more than I did a few years ago. So it's like, maybe I can help that person, who is me a few years ago, who's just starting these things and learning these things and not discounting the knowledge that you have and that you can offer to people.
That's such a great affirmation. And, we hear so much about people lacking the confidence really in themselves and in the value of what they're doing, whether that's the monetary value in pricing or just like who would want to buy my cookies, right? And when in reality the cookies are delicious and they look fantastic. And I mean, I learned a long time ago and learn it every day still. It's like not to worry about what the people on either side of me is doing, right? But like, what can we control?
Totally.
Megan, you talked about like spending time on things that are about the business and at the risk of at the expense maybe of the stuff that you really enjoy doing. This is my shameless plug for Cast Iron, because like it's literally why we started the company, was so that cottage bakers could actually do the things that you enjoy so much and let the technology, the nerds, the software guy, like the tech guy, handle the rest of that for you. Talk about finding happiness in what you do, and joy. Where do you find joy in what you do?
Sure. I find so much joy in being able to help share the love and like joy that baking can bring, because it has been such an incredible creative outlet as far as like the artistic side of it and just matching unique flavors. You get to share the desserts that you make, even whether it's you making it or me helping other people do the same thing, like just to share the desserts with the people around them. Because I think everybody deep down has a love language of good food. And I think that is such a beautiful way to show that people that you care about them is to like make something for them. And I don't know, I think that's the biggest thing, is just like helping others experience that as well and find ways for them to express their creativity and help equip them to create, maybe their own recipes and designs. And I think that's where I find a lot of joy in it, and just sharing that with the people around us.
That's I love that. I wish we had turned on the TikTok camera to make sure we were grabbing that snippet. We'll edit that and share that, because that's really powerful. One of the things I'm really I think a lot about now that we're all working remotely and I work from home. My kids are a bit older; they're 21, 19, and 15. But I want them to see what it means to be an entrepreneur and what it means to work hard. How do you balance that? Your girls are young, but I'm sure they're watching you very closely. talk a little bit about balancing being a mom and being a professional and doing
Yeah.
it in the same place.
Sure. Yeah. I think being in the same place, it can be hard to like separate it sometimes and make sure, it's not just all blurred together and it's always working and, they always see mom busy. And so I think one of the big things that I'm still learning this, I'm not perfect at it by any means, but trying to have intentional time for both. It's like, okay,
Mhm.
this is mom's work time. Like everybody in the house knows it. Like, my husband is on board with that. He is a 100% partner in that. And it's like, okay, girls, like, nope, come ask me the question. Don't ask mom. And then there's other times where it's like intentional time with them. And it's, phone is away. Baking stuff is not on the radar, not checking Instagram stats and everything. So I think the intentionality in having space for both is something that is crucial, but also bringing them into the process sometimes has been fun. They have
How
these
do you do that?
yeah. So some of that has been if I'm just testing a recipe and, I'm not like shooting it, doing photo and video and everything. That's a great part for me to bring my youngest in because she's home with me in the mornings while her sisters are at school. So she can help test the recipes and be a part of the baking process. They're all my taste testers. And so we get to enjoy the desserts, because I'm not selling the dessert to a consumer. It's, creating
Right.
the digital content with it. So that's fun for them to be able to sample everything and we talk about it. We watch baking shows together or they have these little cute kid-friendly digital cameras. So sometimes they'll like come and take
Cute.
pictures while I've got all my stuff set out and it's so cute. And they
Uh,
will what my oldest likes to pretend she's like on a YouTube video or something. She'll be like,
Okay.
so here today we have this beautiful setting with, the ingredients. So
Make sure to smash the like button and hit subscribe, right?
yeah,
I have the T-shirt from Steph at the from Courtney, sorry, at the Bakery Tico that says like taste tester,
yes.
which it was perfect. That's so great. It's so important. I remember my dad um, teaching me about this when I was a kid, and he did it in a different way. He was a doctor, but he was on staff at a hospital, and he used to
Mhm.
take my brother and me when we were really young on Saturdays to the cafeteria at the high school at the hospital where he
Yeah.
was networking for referrals,
Mm.
but we were spending intentional time with him. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's nobody's parents perfect, but like I think about that blending of he had work to do and he
Mhm.
provided and he wanted to spend time with us.
Yeah.
And is it a surprise that both of his sons turn out to be entrepreneurs as well? Not
Yeah.
so much.
I think it's cool when they do that though, and they show you the hardship in it, but they also show you the perks and the rewarding parts of being able to chase after what you're passionate about and do things that
Yeah.
you love. So that's a beautiful part of being able to have them in the mix every once in a
Yeah,
while.
I totally agree. All right, so it's coming along to the end of the year. This will be evergreen. I hope if people are watching it. But what are your big plans for 2024?
Yeah, 2024, I'm really hoping to start creating more in-depth resources for people through ebooks or online classes that you can purchase and, watch at your own pace. I've done a few live ones at this point, but I would really like to do some deep dives with that and create just really thorough resources in recipe development and flavor pairing and also textured macarons. That's one of my jams. I love making
Yeah.
fun textured macaron designs. So I'd love to do some more of that and, maybe just start delving into that a little bit more. And I would also I'm really hoping to get into on-site restaurant photography more as
Mm,
well. So
that's
kind of
so cool.
exploring some other avenues. Most of it's been in kind of like the social media sphere, but I'm hoping to kind of spread that out a little bit and maybe not have to feed the Instagram beast quite as much.
Yeah, it's dangerous to peg your success and forget about like how you feel about yourself if something doesn't work to
Right.
those algorithms. In your courses and in your interactions with your customers and clients, like do you see typical mistakes they're making? Like what and maybe any advice for those watching that are
Yeah.
pretty typical?
Yeah, I think as far as macarons, I think there's a million different things that can go wrong with mac. But as far as like the recipe development side of it, I think I think it's good to just be able to learn about the basics behind a recipe and like what the role of each ingredient is. Because I
Mm,
think some people can, find a recipe and be like, well, I don't like it. And then try a different one. And then they try a different one and try a different one. But I think learning some of those basics about why ingredients do what they do can really be such a great foundation for be able, and it really opens up a lot of creative freedom because it's like, well, I want this recipe to be more tender, or I want this recipe to have more contrast. And like knowing those basics really helps you do that rather than having to try out, a dozen different recipes to find what you want. So I think that's a problem I'm hoping to solve, and just a hurdle that I'm hoping I can help other people cross faster than I did, because maybe gather those resources about and save them a lot of Googling of what does this ingredient do in cookies.
yeah,
So
it's so cool. I learned so much from, I'm not a baker, but I learned so much from talking to bakers, and there's so many analogs between how to make the perfect macaron and how difficult it is, and so much can go wrong with. I'm an entrepreneur trying to build a software company, right? And it's like every person on the team is an ingredient.
yeah,
The finished product is what people see,
right.
and understanding what each person and each ingredient can bring and how to tweak it and how to add a little more salt, or you
Yeah,
know a little more X or Y
right.
is, it's so cool. Gosh, I love this. This is so fun. All right, Megan Knudsen from the whitewhisk.com. We're now at the lightning round
Oh,
portion
okay.
of our thing. Okay, you ready? It's
Ready.
easy. Everyone's a winner. Um, Megan, what is the best meal you've ever had?
Oh my gosh. I went to Hawaii this year and we had a fabulous like lobster tail with like a creme sauce and rice, and it had like some poke for an appetizer. That's probably in recent years my favorite.
And was it a gorgeous location too? I'm
Was
eating alongside of you in this my mind.
It was at the top of a volcano, so it was so cool. Like you could see it simmering in the distance. It was amazing.
Wow, that's amazing. That sounds great. I love the way you talk about the joy of food and the love language of good food, because it touches every sense,
Yeah.
um, and it's pretty powerful. Okay, what's the best advice you've ever been given, and who gave it to you?
Hmm. When it comes to the foodie sphere, I think,
Or life sphere. This is
or life
lightning round.
sphere.
Yeah.
Oh man. I don't remember who told me. I think it's been a collective voice in a lot of my trusted people in my life, but just not like just always being open. I think always being open to learning, always being open to hearing other people's voices and perspectives. And I think the older I get, the more I realize I don't have it all figured out, and to just always keep an open heart to learning more and experiencing more. And my faith is really important to me, so I think that has been a huge voice in that, and just knowing that I am a very small part of a big picture universe. And that's a beautiful thing sometimes, to know that I don't have to have it all figured out, and just taking
Hmm.
things one step at a time and just trusting. And I think that's kind of vague, but yeah, I think just trusting that I don't have to have it all figured out, and that there's always more to learn and to grow in.
That is beautiful. It reminds me, Julia Usher, who we met a couple of weeks ago on Cast Iron Bites at juliausher.com and the Cookie Connection. She does some really cool things. And the advice she was given that I've taken, was someone told her, be kind to Julia,
I love that.
right?
That's so
And,
great.
and, um, it's like, be kind to Mark. I have to remind myself, because I'm so hard on myself, and
Yeah,
we are so critical. And when you lean back and look at the world and the universe and
right.
realize that we're a small part of it, and
Yeah.
we're learning every day and getting
Mhm.
better, and that's the journey. And be kind to yourself is so important. Okay,
Yeah.
last question is, who inspires you? Go ahead and tag somebody here that we might reach out to, or add to our list of people to learn from.
Yeah, I think Camilla from Pies and Tacos has been one of the people I've really looked up to. She is doing what I would love to do right now.
Mm.
Like she's, killing it in the blogging. She is cranking out just gorgeous, delicious recipes. And she's got, she's helping equip other bakers by creating courses for people to learn from. And yeah, I just think she's doing a really great job. She has cookbooks out. Like, I think that would be so fun to do someday. So she really inspires me in that. And she's been so helpful too, and open to, you know, offering advice and encouragement. So I look up to her.
That's great. What a great example. Megan Knudsen at the
So close,
whitewhisk.com.
almost. Knudsvig. You got it. You got it.
Knudsvig. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness.
That's okay.
Knudsvig. I'm so sorry. Be kind to Mark.
Be kind to Mark.
I'm trying my best. It comes from a good place. I'm learning. I'm open. Megan, it is a joy to meet you. You've made my day today. I know that our listeners and viewers are going to really enjoy this as well. Thank you so much for taking the time. I wish you the best of luck and happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Thank you so much for having me. This was great and I really enjoyed it.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.